Welcome to Ask Me Anything. If you like what you see, please feel free to share, subscribe, comment below. Today is a class where we are going to have open forum of a bunch of questions. We got a room full of agents, a handful online, and let's dive in. My name's Lee Rosa, and thank you for watching. First thing is see what I wrote here. As if this was a lead talking to me, this is how my brain works. Ant, invest, mobile home. He didn't say park, but I'm gonna now get clarity on what he meant by mobile home. That's why I did this. And so my first question is, what does mobile home mean to her?
She only she just explained profit, and she'll probably be able to afford that. Affordable.
Yeah, what does that mean?
She could pay for it, finance it.
Yeah, so what are we looking at?
The prices?
Yeah.
I haven't found that out yet.
That's all that matters. See, what this is a wild goose chase. It's a wild goose chase. And the key takeaway here is just because somebody wants to do something doesn't mean it's a lead. It's a good conversation, it's fair, but like, the first thing you always want to know whenever you have someone who's interested in doing real estate is how much cash do they have and where do they want their payments. Okay? That's what you want immediately. That's it. Cash is down payment, closing costs, or the purchase, right? If they're not financing. You with me?
Yes.
And then payments, well, if they're borrowing money, it's PITI plus MI plus flood plus HOA. That's payments. This right here is the system. LPMAMA. LPMAMA. Okay, that's the system. LPMAMA. So when you spoke to your aunt and she started telling you what she wanted, your brain has to immediately go, let me write down LPMAMA. So the moment that they say, all right, I want to buy a mobile home, well, I'm naturally going to go, all right, where? What's the location? What areas are you considering? Where have you seen anything? Where do you own real estate now? Like an investor who's never invested, like doesn't have a portfolio, that lives in Miami that says, oh yeah, I'll buy a mobile home park in North Florida, or I'll buy an investment property in North Florida. Okay, so what happens when the AC goes out? What happens when the toilet blows up at 2 o'clock in the morning? Are you hopping in a plane, in a car? Are you going like, what is your plan? Because you're 8,000 miles away. Like, what exactly is your plan to have an investment property 6 hours away? So I'm gonna ask a little bit around location, because if you go right into, so how much cash do you have? People are gonna feel some type of way. So you have to build rapport and naturally flow into, hey, as a professional, the reason I need to know how much cash you have and where you want your payments is because ideally you're gonna write an offer. Like, you inquired about buying real estate, which is a natural progression to writing an offer. So if we're gonna write an offer, you would want me to negotiate on your behalf. Well, the only way I could truly negotiate on your behalf is if I know how much cash you have and where you want the payments, so that we can negotiate to make that happen. See how it all just kind of makes sense? But nobody thinks like that in the public. They're like, you're gonna hurt me. Why are you asking me how much cash do I have? Why are you asking me all of these questions? So that's then when we get into price. And price is exactly this. It's not, I want to buy a $400,000 property. That's not price. Nobody buys a $400,000 property. Nobody buys an $800,000 property. They don't. They tell you they do, but they want to buy a $4,500 payment with $50,000 cash. And it's our job to connect those dots. But they're going to tell you, I got 20%. 20% of what? Of $500,000. Okay, so what I hear you saying is you have $100,000. Does that include closing costs? Does that include inspections, repairs? Does that include the appraisal? Does that include if the air conditioner goes out a week after closing? No, I only got $100,000. Okay, so we can't look at a $500,000 property if you want to put 20% down. Because you're hiring me to do what? Negotiate on your behalf. So I need to know these numbers so I can actually negotiate on your behalf. Because what is step one of the buyer process? Pre-qual. How much cash do they have and where do they want their monthly payments? That's step one of the buyer process. It's not, are you qualified? It's, hey, so you want to buy an investment property that's a mobile home. I mean, let's talk about where you want to do it and where do you want your payments. Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. Why would I send you a bunch of mobile homes with a bunch of land if I don't know what you really want here? You're asking me to just send you home with aspirin and some water versus actually helping diagnose what it is that you're trying to do, which, by the way, is our value. That's our value as a professional real estate agent. The average agent just sends them a bunch of properties. And that's why real estate agents are a commodity right now. Everyone's equal. Everyone just kind of just facilitates until a market shifts, and then you have to step up skills so you don't waste time. Agent, are you working with anybody? Who's showing you properties? How many homes have you been in? What has that process been? How have you been searching for homes? What does that process look like? I want to know this, not to be intimidated, but so that I'm prepared to handle the objection of not all agents are created equal. Motivation. Why is this important? What do we get when we execute on this? What happens if you don't do this? How long have you been wanting to do this? How did we come up with this plan in the first place? Who do you know that also has been doing this? What do you feel you need to do to succeed? What does success look like? I'm just vibing with questions because step number one in the process is pre-qual. And it's not can you buy, it's do I want to work with you? And I choose who I get to work with, and they get to choose if they're going to work with me, and it works both ways. But I'm going to ask all these questions because I am not going to go do work. I'm not the public library. I'm not going to go do free work. I'm going to see if this is a viable step. The last is appointment. Close. I don't know if it's for you, but we have a 70-inch TV where we can get on the multiple listing service together. We can look at every mobile home for sale by every single real estate agent. We can discuss the pros and cons of every single one, from neighborhood, area, price, condition. We can bounce off each other. And while we bounce off each other, we can be in a relaxed environment where we can choose the best ones. Now, this can be a 10, 15, 20-minute conversation. And I'd rather have a 20-minute conversation to realize that they're not going to be a fit for my business than me go spend hours thinking that it's a match. And that's why it's called pre-qual. The appointment could be, we'll go show you a property or two, and then with the understanding that we will meet afterwards. After you show 4 to 6 homes, you will write a professional offer. This is all part of the presentation. I will write a professional offer, and I will negotiate like a bulldog. Make sure you do the little grunt. It makes them smile and laugh a little bit. Remember, humor sells. Nobody wants serious people. Yeah, no. by simply sharing, may I share with you how we help so many people buy real estate in today's market. We follow a simple 5-step plan of action. And that's how you close. Long answer to, hey, this is the only information I have. And that's how you get more information. That's it.
Right.
This has nothing to do with anything. People don't buy real estate
Right.
based on the economy.
Right.
They buy it based on their personal need, want, and desire
Right.
to own real estate.
Right.
What else are you concerned about? Well, I'm afraid that prices will go down. Okay? And so if prices do go down, why does that concern you?
If they went down after he bought something.
Yeah.
Right.
Why does that concern you? Because he's going to say, I don't want to be a sucker.
Right.
That's what he's going to say. I don't want to get taken advantage of. And I would say, where in your world has that shown up before?
Oh.
I would get really clear on his personal life and where in his life has he behaved like this, their pattern
Right.
of hesitating and waiting and stalling and losing out. Because I don't want him to buy anything. I just want him to think differently so he can possibly make a different decision. I'm not going to tell him anything that's going to tell him you should buy real estate. I'm going to ask questions like, where has that shown up in your life before? Write out 10 sentences every single day. Every single day. And don't have to be different questions. Just write out questions. So come up with, I want to buy a mobile home. What's important about buying a mobile home? Where are you thinking about buying a mobile home? Like, come up with questions about a scenario. And here's a little secret. Use ChatGPT. You
Yeah.
don't have to create them, you have to practice them. Like, you have to practice them, not create them. So use Chat, you say, here's a scenario, come up with 10 thought-provoking questions for me as an agent to my home buyer. And then write them. Like, you got in trouble in school. I will not talk in class. I will not chew gum in class. Right? So that it gets in your head. You don't have to come up with 10 every single day. Get them until they're in your head. Right. We call it's a smokescreen. The whole like Trump or whatever, that's a smokescreen.
Yeah.
Because you either have a lease that's ending,
Right.
or you have pressure from your girlfriend as to, hey, I don't want to wake up on a Saturday morning with your mom, you're making bacon in the morning. I don't eat pork, and I gotta smell it. I don't know. It could be. Take us home.
Just because somebody wants to do something doesn't make it a lead. Tell me on why I should work with you.
That's it. Yeah. To summarize that, as one of my first mentors said, if you have a lead, you work with whoever has a pulse. If you have leads, you have to work with whoever you choose.